Chosen one, anchor your spirit to every word I am about to speak. That restlessness you have been carrying this week, the one you cannot explain and cannot shake, it is not anxiety. It is anticipation. The universe has been rearranging something on your behalf, and the enemy has been working overtime, trying to convince you that what is coming is not coming, that the waiting means it is not real, that the silence means you have been forgotten. But you have not been forgotten. You have been prepared. It all shifts in the coming hours. The loneliness, the wondering, the late nights when you asked yourself if love was still part of your story. It does not end because you finally did everything right. It ends because of what you chose to do in the middle of your pain, because of the decision you made when no one was watching. Think back to that moment this week when you had the option to grow bitter, but you chose to stay soft instead. When you had every reason to close your heart permanently, and you kept it open anyway. You did not know it then, but that decision was not weakness. That was the precise moment you became ready. That was the act that removed the final barrier between you and what heaven has already assigned to you. You did not stumble onto this message by accident. The algorithm did not bring you here. Something far greater than an algorithm did. This is a divine appointment, and it was written long before you were born. You are standing at the edge of one of the most significant chapters of your life, and this message is the announcement. Stay until the very last second, because in the next few minutes, I am going to reveal exactly who is coming and why they are different from everyone who came before. I'm going to show you the specific signs that confirm this is already in motion. And at the end, I am going to give you the declaration that seals your heart open and your spirit ready, so that when they arrive, you do not miss them. Do not click away. The version of you that has been praying in the dark, asking God if love was still possible for someone like you. This is the moment that prayer gets answered. If you leave now, you leave before the verdict is read. I know what the last few days have felt like. The atmosphere has not just been quiet. It has been strangely still, like the world paused, like something is holding its breath right before it exhales something magnificent. Maybe you have been going through your routines this week, and suddenly, out of nowhere, you felt an overwhelming sense that your life is about to look completely different. Or maybe you woke up at 3 in the morning, and instead of dread, you felt something close to expectation, a warmth you could not locate but could not deny. Or perhaps someone crossed your mind this week, someone unexpected, someone you almost dismissed, and something in your spirit would not let you move past it. You feel it, but you do not fully trust it yet, because the enemy has been whispering the same lie to you for too long now. And that lie sounds like this. It tells you that what happened in your last connection was your fault, that you are too broken, too complicated, too damaged for the kind of love that actually stays. It replays every moment you were rejected, every moment you poured into someone who left, every moment you wondered if maybe you were just not the kind of person that gets chosen. The accuser has been using your history as evidence against your future, but I need you to hear what the truth actually says about this moment. Romans 8:28 says, "And we know that all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to his purpose." Listen to that carefully. All things. Not the beautiful things, not the easy things, all things. Every disappointment, every unanswered prayer, every person who walked away, every night you cried and received no explanation. It was all working. Every piece of it was being woven into the exact preparation required to make you ready for what is already on its way. You did not disqualify yourself. You were being qualified. The loneliness you have been carrying is not a sign that love has passed you by. It is the final pressure before the door opens. It is the last exam before the graduation. The heaviness you feel is not the weight of abandonment. It is the weight of transition. You are not at the beginning of another painful cycle. You are at the conclusion of every cycle that was never meant to last. The love that is coming is not coming to fix you. You are not broken. It is coming to join you, to walk beside a version of you that was forged in fire and came out carrying gold. That moment when you stayed soft, when bitterness was easier, that was not a small thing. That was the final act of preparation. That sealed something in the spiritual realm that cannot be undone. You are ready, and they are coming. Now let me tell you who they are. Not what they look like, not their name, but who they are in the way that matters, the way that your spirit will recognize before your mind catches up. They are someone who has also been through the fire. Imagine not just walking through a fleeting flame, but enduring a long, intense period within a spiritual crucible where everything not truly aligned with their highest self was purged and purified. They have known the searing heat of transformation, the kind that strips away illusions and leaves only the authentic core. This is not a superficial burn. It is the deep, alchemical process that refines character, strengthens resolve, and imbues the soul with an unshakable knowing. They have faced trials that could have broken a lesser spirit, yet they emerged not singed, but strengthened, not diminished, but deeply enriched, bearing the indelible mark of divine resilience. They are someone who knows what it is to give everything, every fiber of their being, every ounce of their emotional and spiritual reservoir, to a connection that returned nothing but emptiness, leaving them feeling profoundly depleted and bewildered. They understand the profound ache of unrequited emotional investment, the sorrow of pouring their sacred essence into a vessel that was never meant to hold it. This experience taught them the true cost of misdirected love and the sacred imperative of self-preservation, not out of selfishness, but out of spiritual wisdom. They have sat in their own silence, not a comfortable, fleeting quiet, but a profound, sometimes terrifying solitude, where all external noise faded, forcing them to confront their deepest fears, their most vulnerable truths. In that sacred stillness, they asked their own version of the agonizing questions you have been asking, wrestling with doubt, grief, and the profound longing for understanding. This deep introspection was their personal wilderness, where they grappled with their identity, their purpose, and their capacity for love, emerging with a clarity and self-awareness that only such a journey can bestow. They are not coming to you unbroken, as if their journey has been flawless and unscarred. On the contrary, their story is etched with the beautiful, complex patterns of survival, growth, and divine repair. They carry the wisdom of their wounds, the empathy forged in suffering, and the profound grace found in overcoming. They are coming to you whole, yes, but whole in the unique and powerful way that only people who have survived their own intricate, sometimes harrowing process of becoming can be whole. Their wholeness is not an absence of past pain, but an integration of it, a profound testament to their resilience and unwavering faith. It's a mosaic of triumphs and trials, each piece contributing to a radiant, authentic self. And the moment you meet, there will be something palpable, something undeniably real, pulsating underneath the surface of the conversation, beneath whatever seemingly ordinary circumstances bring you into the same physical space. It will be an energetic resonance, a vibrational alignment that feels less like a mere coincidence, a random twist of fate, and overwhelmingly more like a profound correction, a divine recalibration of your life's trajectory. It will feel like the universe itself, after holding its breath for years, meticulously orchestrating every detail, finally exhaling a sigh of deep contentment, witnessing the reunion of two souls destined to converge. It's the cosmic equivalent of a long-awaited celestial alignment, bringing a sense of rightness and destined purpose that reverberates deep within your spirit. Because here is what most people never truly understand about divine love. It does not typically announce itself with a sudden explosion of fireworks, a dramatic fanfare, or an overwhelming instant certainty that sweeps you off your feet in a whirlwind of passion and immediate conviction. While those intense emotions can certainly be part of love's tapestry, divine love, in its purest, most foundational form, announces itself with peace. A profound, unshakable stillness you have never before felt with anyone else. A quietude that settles over your spirit like a gentle dew. It is a soft, steady whisper in the core of your being, a profound sense of inner sanctuary where the incessant clamor of anxiety, the restless churn of past doubts, and the gnawing fear of future uncertainties used to perpetually reside. This peace is not the absence of external noise, but the presence of an internal harmony, a calming of the soul's turbulent waters. And when you feel that enveloping peace, that quiet recognition deep within your chest, do not, under any circumstances, dismiss it as insignificant because it is not dramatic enough for your expectations. Do not allow your preconceived notions of what love should look and feel like to blind you to its subtle majesty. Do not walk past the miracle, the profound gift of a quiet, soul-deep connection, simply because you expected it to arrive louder, demanding attention with flashy declarations and overwhelming intensity. Often, the most profound spiritual experiences, and certainly divine love, manifest in gentleness, in a delicate unveiling that invites you inward rather than demanding an outward spectacle. The divine orchestrates a soft dawn before a brilliant sunrise, and this peace is the tranquil light of that spiritual morning. But here is where it goes deeper, far beyond the surface understanding. The person who is steadily coming toward you is not merely a reward for your unwavering patience, a prize granted simply for enduring a prolonged period of waiting. Let that profound truth truly settle into the depths of your being. Too many people have been erroneously taught, through stories and societal narratives, that love is some kind of tangible commodity, something you must earn or qualify for by waiting long enough through desolate seasons, by suffering enough through heart-wrenching trials, or by rigorously proving you can endure hardship with stoic resilience. But that is fundamentally not how heaven assigns its most sacred blessings. Patience, while a virtue in its own right, was never the primary currency for this divine exchange. Transformation, the profound metamorphosis of your inner landscape, was the true and ultimate point. The waiting itself was not the ultimate purpose, rather, what happened inside you, the profound internal alchemy and spiritual maturation that occurred during that period of patient expectation, that was the entire and singular point. And what specifically happened inside you this week? The courageous, conscious choice to stay open, to keep your heart vulnerable and receptive even in the face of lingering fear or past hurt. That deliberate decision to keep your heart from turning to stone, from hardening against the possibility of new love. That choice, in its beautiful vulnerability, revealed something about you that time alone never could have. It revealed with breathtaking clarity who you actually are when everything external is working against you, when the odds seem stacked, and when the easiest path would have been to retreat into self-protection. And that version of you, that resilient, courageous, authentically open-hearted individual, is precisely who they are being sent to. Not the carefully constructed performance, not the perfectly polished version you meticulously present to the world when circumstances are favorable and everything is going smoothly. No, they are being guided to the real one, the raw, unfiltered, deeply honest version of you. The one that sat in the quiet, sometimes painful, dark this week, and, despite every instinct to guard and withdraw, chose love anyway, chose hope, chose the arduous path of vulnerability over the illusory safety of cynicism. That authentic, brave, unyielding spirit is precisely who they are looking for, who their own journey has prepared them to meet, and that, unequivocally, is exactly who you have shown yourself to be. This is not about being perfect, but about being authentically human, courageously open, and deeply rooted in your truth, even when it's uncomfortable. Now, once you truly grasp that foundational understanding, once it permeates your spirit and begins to shift your perspective, you are fully ready for this next layer of insight. There are subtle yet significant signs already in motion, whispers from the divine orchestration of your life, signs that you may have been inadvertently reading incorrectly up until now. You have likely been conditioned to look for confirmation in grand, undeniable gestures, in overwhelming certainty, in the complete and utter absence of any lingering doubt. But the profound signs that heaven sends, those sacred navigational markers for your true path, are rarely loud or bombastic. They are instead exquisitely precise. They are often quiet nudges, gentle currents, and subtle harmonies that resonate with the depths of your soul. Therefore, pay very close attention this week to the seemingly minor yet energetically significant occurrences around you. Pay attention to the people who unexpectedly re-enter your atmosphere, perhaps a connection from the past reappearing with a new energy, or a new person crossing your path in an unforeseen way, carrying an unfamiliar yet compelling resonance. Pay attention to the conversation that goes longer than it logically should, stretching beyond polite pleasantries, delving into depths that leave you feeling strangely awake, alive, and profoundly seen. It's the kind of dialogue that nourishes your spirit and ignites a dormant spark. Pay attention to the specific name or face that comes to your mind with an undeniable insistence during moments of prayer or quiet reflection, and steadfastly refuses to leave your consciousness, becoming a persistent, gentle presence within your inner landscape. And observe the door that opens for you, not because you forcefully pushed, struggled, or manipulated the circumstances, but because something in the divine timing simply and effortlessly shifted, allowing it to swing open with grace, revealing a path forward that feels natural and aligned. These are not random coincidences dressed up as spiritual signals. These are far more profound. These are the very coordinates, the precise spiritual mapping points of something already powerfully moving in your direction, converging with your readiness, a testament to heaven's meticulous design. And what is coming next will likely surprise you, not because it's unexpected in a negative sense, but because the divine often operates beyond the confines of our limited human foresight, unveiling beauty and synchronicity in ways we could never have fully imagined, because it always does. Here is the part that no one truly wants to hear, the challenging truth that might cause a moment of internal resistance. But it is an essential truth that absolutely has to land and fully integrate within your understanding before you can authentically step forward into this new chapter. The recurring patterns that have seemingly followed you in love, the heart-wrenching cycle of people who could not or would not stay, the myriad connections that began with such radiant promise and yet inexplicably ended in confusion, heartache, and dissolution. Those patterns were never, in their essence, evidence that you are inherently unlovable or somehow flawed beyond repair. Instead, they were profound, albeit sometimes painful, evidence that you had not yet fully left the previous version of you, the self that those particular connections were ultimately designed for. Every person who eventually walked away was, in essence, walking away from a version of you that was still deeply in the process of becoming, still shedding layers, still evolving towards your authentic self. Think of it like this, a powerful biblical metaphor. Abram, a man of faith, had to wholeheartedly leave everything familiar, every comfort, every known territory of his past life and identity, before he could fully step into his destined capacity and become Abraham, the father of many nations. It was the same essential name, yet a profoundly different spiritual capacity, a broadened scope of purpose and promise. It was the same person, yet operating within a completely new dimension of being and divine assignment. In a similar vein, the loves you lost, those connections that faded or broke, were not ruthlessly taken from you as a punishment. Rather, they were released from you, gently yet decisively, because the magnificent evolved person you are now, the one who has undergone such profound transformation, could not possibly have been genuinely contained or truly fulfilled within the confines of the life you would have built, or the future you would have shared with them in their previous form. What often felt like a crushing rejection, a personal failing, was actually a divinely guided redirection, an exquisite rerouting by the universe towards a love that is perfectly calibrated, meticulously designed, and beautifully aligned for who you have genuinely become in your spiritual evolution, not for the person you once were or the limited identity you used to inhabit. It was a benevolent hand, though sometimes firm, guiding you away from paths that no longer served your highest good, opening the way for a destiny that truly matches your elevated vibration. This profound insight brings us at last to the real turning point, the pivotal moment where understanding shifts into tangible manifestation. You have been diligently praying with a yearning heart for the arrival of the right person, the one who aligns with your soul's deepest desires. But here is the magnificent truth. Heaven has simultaneously been answering a different, perhaps even more crucial prayer, a prayer that you may have whispered so quietly, so unconsciously in the depths of your soul, that you almost forgot you even prayed it. That profound, silent plea was the prayer that said, "Make me ready, make me whole. Make me the kind of person that true, lasting, divine love can finally stay with, can deeply reside within." That foundational prayer was heard by the Most High, the very instant you breathed it into existence, resonating through the ethers of creation. And every single experience you have navigated since that moment, every gut-wrenching loss, every hard-won lesson, every single night that stretched longer and darker than you thought your spirit could possibly survive, all of it, every challenging step, every refining fire, every moment of profound growth, was the Most High faithfully honoring that deepest, most authentic request of your heart. It was a meticulous process of divine craftsmanship, building you, strengthening you, and preparing you from the inside out, forging your spirit into the magnificent vessel capable of holding the love you desire. You explicitly asked to be made ready, and with unwavering devotion, you have continuously been made ready through the symphony of your life's experiences. And this week, in this particular sacred window of time, something profoundly significant in that intricate divine process has finally completed, reaching its culmination. A cycle has closed, a lesson has integrated, and a new level of spiritual readiness has been attained, making you perfectly poised for what is to come. Stay with me, lean in closely, because what I am about to share next is the absolute pivotal part, the truth that holds the power to break the cycle of past disappointments permanently, preventing you from repeating old patterns. Most people, when they enter into the beautiful, yet often vulnerable space of new love, unconsciously carry with them the indelible emotional fingerprints of old pain. They bring the insidious hypervigilance, that heightened state of awareness, constantly scanning for threats, perpetually waiting for the other shoe to drop, convinced that inevitable disappointment lurks just around the corner. They manifest a half-presence, a subtle yet significant emotional distance, which stems from the deep-seated instinctual need to protect a heart that has been broken, shattered, or wounded before. And because they unconsciously operate from this place of protection and anticipation of pain, they inadvertently recreate the very dynamic, the precise emotional patterns they were so desperate to escape from in the first place. This doesn't happen because they are inherently broken or unlovable. It happens because, from the intensely subjective vantage point of the inner self, the act of protection and the act of genuine preparation for love can feel eerily, almost identically the same. You cannot always, with perfect clarity, tell the nuanced difference between wisely guarding your precious heart from genuine harm and, tragically, guarding yourself entirely out of the very love you have so fervently prayed for, creating an impenetrable fortress around your most sacred longings. This, then, is precisely where true discernment becomes not just a helpful quality, but the most important spiritual weapon, the most vital tool you carry in your arsenal. The divine love that is now consciously moving toward you, destined for you, will unequivocally require you to be fully present, radically vulnerable, and wholly engaged in a way that your past painful experiences have conditioned you to perceive as inherently dangerous. And the enemy, the voice of doubt and fear, knows this profound vulnerability intimately. So, he will cunningly whisper insidious lies into your mind, attempting to convince you that your caution, your hesitancy, is actually profound wisdom. He will tell you that your self-imposed walls, those protective barriers around your heart, are in fact genuine discernment. He will suggest that your instinct to slow down, to hold back, is actually a spiritual directive, a reason to stand still and prevent yourself from moving forward. Do not, under any circumstances, believe him or the deceptive narratives he weaves. True discernment, the kind that flows from divine wisdom, does not build restrictive walls that isolate and separate. On the contrary, it builds expansive sight, clear vision. It empowers you to see clearly, to perceive the truth of situations and individuals, without needing to reflexively protect yourself from what you see. It allows for an open-hearted engagement with reality, devoid of the need for preemptive defense. And what you will see, what you will undeniably recognize in this person who is approaching, is something your spirit, your deepest intuitive knowing, will confirm with an immediate resonant certainty long before your logical mind has the chance to analyze, argue, or raise its familiar objections against it. Let that profound spiritual confirmation settle. Let it be affirmed in your soul. Let it resonate without interruption from the noise of past wounds or future fears. And yet, there is something even deeper than that, something profound and often hidden underneath this entire truth, a secret layer of understanding that most people, in their journey, never fully reach or acknowledge. The deepest, most pervasive barrier, the most formidable obstacle standing between you and the fullness of the love that is actively coming into your life, is not primarily fear. It is not solely the weight of your past experiences, the history of disappointment and heartbreak. It is not even just the insidious whispers of the enemy or the lingering wounds you are still diligently tending to, trying to heal. The deepest, most fundamental barrier is an identity you have unconsciously been holding on to, an internalized self-perception that has become so deeply ingrained you may not even realize its pervasive influence. It is the identity of someone who has not yet been chosen, who is perpetually waiting to be seen, waiting to be selected, waiting to be affirmed. You have carried this particular identity for such an extended period, through so many seasons of your life, that it no longer even feels like a lie, a mere illusion. It has, tragically, solidified in your perception until it feels like an undeniable fact, an unalterable truth about your being. This deeply ingrained identity has subtly yet powerfully shaped how you enter rooms, how you hold yourself, how you speak about your future aspirations, how you respond when something genuinely good, something promising, finally begins to move in your direction. You subconsciously brace yourself for it to be inevitably taken away, to be snatched from your grasp. You qualify your hope, hedging your bets, unable to fully surrender to joyful anticipation. You find yourself saying things like, "Maybe this time," as if the mere possibility of this present moment of hope absolutely requires, even demands, the painful memory and preemptive caution derived from every single last time that ended in heartbreak. But hear this truth with every fiber of your being. Let it penetrate the deepest chambers of your heart and mind. You absolutely cannot. It is an energetic impossibility. Walk fully into what has already been divinely assigned to you, into your destined path, while you are still wearing, still embodying the identity of someone who is merely waiting to be assigned, waiting to be picked from the sidelines of life. You are not, I repeat, not waiting to be chosen. This is a profound spiritual misconception. You were chosen meticulously and lovingly before the very foundation of the world was laid, before you ever drew your first breath, before time itself began. The love that is now consciously coming toward you, the beautiful manifestation you are anticipating, is not the event that makes that truth a reality. It is simply, yet powerfully, the tangible evidence, the visible confirmation of what was already eternally, profoundly true about your inherent worth and your divine destiny. And the very moment you consciously decide to stop living from the posture of someone desperately hoping to be seen, hoping to be validated, and instead begin living from the unshakable posture of someone who is already seen, already known, already deeply affirmed by the divine, everything around you, your external reality, your energetic field, will begin to shift in ways that feel almost immediate, undeniable, and profoundly transformative. This is an internal revolution that reorders your entire world. That shift, that profound internal realignment, is the final, essential preparation. It is the spiritual equivalent of tuning an instrument perfectly before the symphony begins. And here is the part, the deepest, most unexpected truth that you probably did not anticipate, yet it is often the most potent key to unlocking your destiny. The primary thing that has, in truth, been blocking the full, unobstructed arrival of this divine love into your life is not ultimately the enemy, though he certainly tries to interfere. It is not solely the weight of your past experiences or the mistakes you've made. It is not even the pervasive fear you have been able to consciously name and acknowledge. No, the deepest, most tenacious blockage is often the grief you have never fully, consciously, and honorably acknowledged or processed. There is a profound loss somewhere in your personal history, a lingering shadow, perhaps the departure of a specific person, or the painful shedding of a cherished version of yourself that you once were, or perhaps the shattering of a future you meticulously planned and built around someone who ultimately could not stay, could not remain in your life. And because that profound grief has never been properly honored, never given its rightful space for acknowledgement and release, a significant part of you is still standing, energetically tethered, in the very place where that loss originally happened, perpetually waiting for something to return that was never, ever coming back. This unaddressed grief acts like an anchor, holding you to a past reality that no longer exists. Heaven is not asking you to forget that loss, to erase it from your memory, or to pretend it never happened. That would be an affront to your human experience and an invalidation of your pain. Instead, heaven is asking you to bury it, metaphorically speaking, to give it a proper sacred place of rest, a profound and deliberate goodbye, a ritual of release. It is a call to honor the significance of what was lost, to acknowledge its impact, to grieve it fully and consciously, and then, and only then, to courageously turn your face fully, wholeheartedly, and without reservation, toward what is unequivocally ahead. This call to release is not because the past did not matter, or because your pain was insignificant. On the contrary, it mattered deeply. But where you are now going, the magnificent future that awaits you, requires all of you, your complete presence, your full energy, your unburdened spirit. And right now, a vital part of you is still emotionally and energetically rooted in a place, a moment in time that you needed to leave a long, long time ago in order to fully embrace your present and future. When you finally release it, and I mean truly, deeply, unequivocally release it, not merely suppress it, pushing it down into the subconscious, not explaining it away with intellectual justifications, but rather allowing yourself to fully feel it, to name its precise pain, to acknowledge its profound impact, and then, with open hands and an open heart, to hand it entirely to God, surrendering it into divine care. That, my beloved soul, is when the final, most crucial door unlocks. That is when the entire atmosphere around you begins to subtly yet powerfully change. A shift so palpable that others, those sensitive to spiritual currents, will often notice it before you even become consciously aware of it yourself. That is when they arrive. Your spiritual frequency will have shifted, becoming a beacon for your aligned destiny. And when they do, when this divinely orchestrated connection finally manifests, you will not feel desperate, as if you've been scrambling to fill an aching void. You will not feel a mere sense of relief in the way that comes from finally being rescued from a perilous situation. Instead, you will feel something far quieter, yet infinitely more powerful and profound. You will feel an undeniable resonance, a deep, soul-level recognition, like something that was always meant to be true, a fundamental truth about your existence, has at long last become visibly, tangibly, wonderfully manifest. It will be akin to recognizing someone you have never met in this lifetime, yet whose soul signature feels as familiar as your own breath. It will feel like coming home to a place you have never physically been before, yet somehow, on a spiritual level, you have always profoundly known existed, a sacred space crafted just for you. That, my dear one, is the love that is unequivocally yours, not a distant someday, perpetually deferred into an uncertain future, not if you are patient enough, or good enough, or healed enough, as if love is a reward for personal perfection. No, it is yours now. In this specific season, in the immediate wake of this transformative week, because of who you courageously chose to be, because of the profound spiritual decision you made to stay open, to remain vulnerable, to hold on to hope, even when the cost of staying open was at its absolute highest, when every past wound clamored for you to close off. Your faithfulness in the fire has prepared you. If this message has reached something deep within you today, stirring your spirit and igniting a renewed sense of hope, do not let it pass through you without a meaningful response. Share it with someone who desperately needs to hear that their love story has not ended, that the waiting has not been in vain, and that their divine connection is drawing near. Leave a word in the comments below about what specifically moved in you during this message, because your testimony, your personal declaration of faith and experience, becomes someone else's powerful permission to believe in their own unfolding miracle. And if you are truly ready, in every fiber of your being, to seal your heart open, to consciously prepare your spirit to receive what is already divinely in motion, stay with me for one final sacred moment. Place your hand gently on your heart right now, connecting with your own profound spiritual center. Now say this with me, out loud if possible, and truly mean every single word, letting the intention permeate your entire being. I release the grief I have been carrying without naming. I release the identity of someone who has not yet been chosen, because I was chosen before I ever drew breath. I release the fear that disguised itself as wisdom and the walls that disguised themselves as discernment. I welcome the love that has been assigned to me, not because I have earned it, but because I have been made ready for it. I declare that my heart is open. I declare that my spirit is awake. I declare that what heaven has written over my life cannot be rewritten by disappointment, delay, or the enemy's lies. I am not waiting to be seen. I am already seen. I am not hoping to be chosen. I am already chosen. And I walk forward from this moment, carrying nothing from the past that was never meant to follow me here. The love that is mine is on its way, and I am ready to receive it with everything I am. It is already done.